good evening, everybody. Just a second here. We'll go ahead and get started. Hopefully, you guys all had a really great weekend. I had a pretty good weekend. Went to the water park with my kids. Played around outside. Got sunburned. You know, the usual. Yeah, we're gonna go over that tonight a little bit. So, there we go. That's better. All right, I'm just gonna give everybody just a few seconds here, and we'll go ahead and get over our recap here, our prep, I guess, if you will. So, all right, how was y'all's weekend though? Bounty from TikTok, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. We're going to go over just major ETFs, any news that we have over the weekend. Mostly going to be focused on what earnings we have ahead over the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be writing some of the key ones down here on the board. And then from there, just going to go over a few of the stocks that I'm already watching. My list is slim, but then I'm going to be taking y'all's request for charting, and then yeah. So and then I have a live event here. So thoughts on Boeing? I will absolutely chart that if you want to hop in here. So, all right, guys. Let me hop on the Discord. Alrighty, so, oh man, what a list here. Alrighty, so, last week, you know, going over the news, or going over the major ETFs, the only major index that actually found the most upside was the Russell, up 0.73%. S&P, Dow, and NASDAQ all fell, regardless of how we saw the weekend. Consumer discretionary stocks got baked. They're down 2.5%. Materials led all other sectors up 2.79%. Those of you on YouTube, can you guys hear me okay? I have a new sound filter on, so that way weekend was slow but good. Nice. Can you chart TLT late? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Tilt, Wish, yes, Wish is on the list. I'm echoing. Really? Okay. I think I know why. Hold on a second. All right, tell me if that's a little bit better. If not, then I'll have to turn this filter off. What do you think about? What about now? My daughter's destroyed this filter. Ah! My God. That's better. Better. Lord have mercy on this mic. All right. What about now? What do you think? A little cold in here. 1 second. I'm in trouble. Hold on 1 second. I had to put on a shirt. It's a little chilly in here right now. All right. All right. So anyway, before I rudely interrupted myself. Anyway, so looking ahead, or looking back, it was a rocky earnings week for as big tech companies reported. The results were mixed. Peak's earnings season will tee off this week, guys. IPOs this week were pretty lackluster, but we're too busy. I don't know if you guys have seen. We have Goog, and then we also have Weber's IPO, which I forget which the other one. Goog is another grill company, so we have two grill IPOs. But anyway, looking at the moves overall, the S&P down 32%, NASDAQ down 1%, Russell up 0.73%, and the the Dow Jones down 0.34%. So we have, guys, the talk around crypto is so strong right now. So I do think that keeping an eye on crypto stocks this week will be really important. But because I think we might see a little bit of movement. A lot of those gaps, when it gapped up originally, those gaps had filled. So alrighty. So right off the bat, let me go to my screen here. Okay, so we need to go ahead and go over earnings. I'm trying to keep this relatively quick because trying to keep this around an hour and a half. So earnings season starting off next week, guys. Monday, not extremely exciting. We do have a little NXPI, another semiconductor company, semiconductor company. But other than that, nothing. ON Semiconductors. So it seems like kind of smaller company. Mosaic is on the list. But other than that, not a huge earnings. Monday, only 104 companies reporting. But Tuesday kicking off the real thick of it, where we have Baba, Nikola, ATVI, Under Armour, Skills, Lyft, CRSR, which those of you, if you guys haven't heard me, I've stated this already. I am long. I have been for a minute on CRSR. I have ground. Now, the way I'm playing, obviously I'm buying before earnings, but they have had a lot of red. So I've been buying, speculatively, and then really, as of recent, a lot of some of my favorite analysts have dropped videos on CRSR. So I'm looking to potentially increase my position, but I also have downside protection as we're going into earnings. So, but other than that, let's see here. Trying to look for anything else relatively exciting. I know some of you guys may have companies in here. We have Fastly, Etsy, Maxr. Maxr tends to perform decently on earnings. That one I highly recommend not straddling, as that one usually will open up flat. Roku, MVIS, Microvision, General Motors. We have 336 companies reporting on Wednesday, guys. So I mean, I could go on and on. The list is huge. So a lot of movement I expect coming out of this sector. By the way, those of you on YouTube, mic's still sounding okay. Please let me know. Just want to double check here. Are futures ripping right now? Yeah, for sure. Just want to double check. Shoot, futures high key ripping. Yeah, I'll we got Facebook, Wish. Hold on a second. I'll go ahead and write these down. So TLT, Wish, and Facebook. pretty sure if I walk over there, you guys will not be able to hear me with this new CRISPR thing. So I might even have to turn it off if my daughter starts fussing. 1 second. Yeah, you guys should be able to hear me. I'm guessing you guys didn't hear me. You're looking at Tesla as well, one? Alright, we'll take a look at that as well. Alrighty, so anyway, you guys get the picture. Wednesday showing out with another earnings, guys. Space, Beyond, Square, Big C, GoPro, Moderna, Fisker, guys, there is so many earnings that are coming up this week, and this is the key benchmark for whether or not the market can afford to move up higher, and whether or not the low volume earnings week that we've had is a sign for a reversal and an easy profit taking for a lot of big money holders, or if this is a sign that the market is safe to continue to invest in, and hopefully we'll have people doing just that. We'll see a decent inflow of cash and less low volume bleeding up kind of days. But I forget about this stupid. I could go back and forth on my key or on my mouse. Anyway, space. So a few key earnings that I in particular am interested in, and I'll write those down. So space, Square. I'm gonna write these just right here. Now, one of the reasons why I am so interested in space is because it has a gap to fill. It's one of the reasons why I looked at Pinterest and played it during earnings, because you guys probably know that one of the things that we say the most in our group is to not play earnings, because earnings can not go well. You can either, honestly, if you open up a straddle, the worst thing is you can open up flat. If you sell premiums, the worst thing is that, you could end up ripping or dumping depending on where your position is at. So earnings are a risky gamble no matter what. And if you're doing so, you need to make sure that you're okay with losing whatever that you put in. But this doesn't mean that there already isn't implied moves dialed into some of these stocks. I think that space, if you look at the chart here, we can kind of skip over and we'll get back to the major ETFs. But if you look at space here, and this is something that I think is important to look at, when you're looking at daily charts and looking at earnings and stuff like that, where the stock usually, and we talk about, how a lot of the time stocks will consolidate going into earnings. And I think that's exactly what we've seen here with space, is, you had that massive amount of profit taking that occurred. And I think that the natural thing is that space is going to, I'm sure, people will be excited, but space has a relatively large gap from 23.74 all the way to 21. So, I mean, you have this consolidation here. In my opinion, this does often turn into a reversal candle. And when it does, or excuse me, not reversal candle, a reversal pattern. But whenever that reversal pattern happens, usually it's from a positive catalyst, and that's something that is hard to see coming unless there's a launch news, or like, okay, we're gonna start like legitimately selling tickets, and like this is when we launch. Like when that happens and profit, we can start like taking a look at the fundamentals. That's totally different. But in my opinion, space could likely on earnings go and fill that gap. And a lot of the times when you hit a new low, you can't continue to bleed, and a lot of the times you'll sit flat until that catalyst is had. So anyway, we're gonna go jump from that. So you guys get the drift here. Big earnings next week. Awesome. I can't wait to talk to you, Sam. SQ releases ER tonight, very early. Oh, they already did? No way. Mixed. Okay, we'll see that movement in a gap up, Quinn. Which, Quinn, you know what I think might be really interesting is playing the gap to the downside. I think if it gaps up or if it gaps down. Regardless, I think the gap fill will be nice to play. So we'll see what happens there. Bingo report. Can you please look at the chart? Yeah, I can do that. So, bingo. You guys are always welcome to drop your chart request in the chat so that way I can look at them. Oh, never mind. You guys didn't hear that. You guys are welcome to drop your chart request, as you think, but obviously keep it relatively down to 2 or 3 just so everybody has room. Okay. So right off the bat, guys, let's take a look. I think ES. Oops. Yeah, so this is actually pretty funny that it's looking this way because I think we discussed the potential movement to look just like this holding above the 9-day moving average. And you can see that, that this 9-day moving average here on the daily, as far as the, futures are concerned, there is some respect to be had as well. So it looks like we're flagging. Now, ripping, not quite yet. Now we can go look at SPY. And we can see that where is this bouncing off of? It looks as if it's bouncing off of this trend line here. But that being said, hold on one second. Okay. Hold on one second. Yeah, so that being said, I do think that with the gaps, the gap has been filled on SPY, but there is the potential for that 337.30 bounce if we continue to follow futures, because this could end up being that nice flag bounce, and we could use this 9-day moving average here to see some continuation at the upside. But of course, the one most important thing to look at is volume. On the last little push up here, we had very, very low volume. Ending the day on Friday, we did have a significant, a decent amount of volume. But if you look towards the end of the day on SPY, going here to the hourly, you ended with what looks to be kind of a bear flag. If you kind of pull this down right here, we may end up consolidating here in this little triangle before making a move either or. So anywhere above for SPY, you can kind of mark that 339, or excuse me, 440, excuse me, 440 mark for SPY. And that would likely be where I would be placing my bet for if we climb up there. We have the 440.35. If we can climb past that, I think we might be in tune for a reversal. But here's the thing. We did end up with that rejection at that 441 and 441.65, 441.14, that level there. Multiple are 2 rejections there so far. So in this case, if we did end up moving up and breaking up with would likely be an ascending triangle, that would require a positive market catalyst. So hopefully we can see futures continue to push up. And if we gap up anywhere around that level, I hate gaps. So it'd be nice if we just opened up flat and then ended up getting a bounce. But anyway, for SPY, I think it's relatively simple here. We know where our support is. And let me fix this. Hold on one second. Okay. Where are my EMAs? Alright, that's really annoying. That's not even the right moving average. Alright. Sorry guys, I don't know why I don't have my EMAs up at all. Okay. There we go. Okay, perfect. So, let's see here. Get that support lined up again, since my charts want to do whatever they want. Yeah, so that's kind of what I want to show you guys. We have that potential here. This is the space in which SPY can chop through earnings week. And in my opinion, if earnings doesn't play out correctly, 428 right on that 50-day EMA, we have consistently bounced off of that 50 EMA time after time. It's really, really well respected. But right now, still low volume push right now. The 9-day moving average is holding it up. So if we follow futures and we push past that 441, then by all means, we could see continuation to the upside, or at least a melting up, if you will. But right now, volume is low, and it's hard for me to put my toes in the water and feel confident about doing so when volume is so low. So, yes, you guys, but see this right there. Sorry, the camera right there too. Okay. Anyway, Qs. Excuse me. So same thing with the Qs as SPY right now. Low volume Friday, ending with higher volume. You did get a nice bounce though yesterday. Going down here to the hourly, it looks pretty similar to SPY right here, going off of these top highs. Oh, there we go. So looks to me that we have like what looks a bit of a pennant. So choppiness, consolidation. We did get a nice push on Friday, but as you can see, this level right here, which we've seen rejections at, the 3366.85 level right there, that's going to be the level to beat. Like I said, this earnings week is going to be huge, so I can't put my thumb on whether or not, and that's exactly what these patterns are. They're bilateral patterns, so it's really evaluating volume and price action as we take a look at the chart and decipher whether or not this thing can actually break to the upside using those trigger points. So for me, 365.30 for the Qs would likely be a place where I really keep my eyes on tech in general. So the Dow right now, guys, this one kind of double topped around that 35.1 mark, somewhere in there. It looks like the 30. It had multiple rejections. It had one here at 351.40, and then it had another one right at top of that at 351.66. But all in all, two multiple pullbacks here. So I would watch that major support of 348.85. You break that, and I do believe that you still have a gap to fill here on the Dow, starting at 346.60 or 70. Excuse me. For the Dow. So if we do end up seeing a pullback next week, which I will admit that's not a pretty pattern there on the Dow. So all right. So anyway, we got the Dow, Qs, IWM. So IWM, guys, although up this week, I think is down. Maybe not even to all in all. I think that we could end up rallying towards the middle of the week. One of the reasons why I feel that way is I think IWM may see a pullback here back down to this support level of 219.85. Somewhere in that range, may even get a gap down, which would make a whole lot of sense, because if we gap down, then we would have a small gap to fill to the upside. And if we fill it to the upside, that target could go as high as 225.85. And that is also a previous support and rejection zone for the Russell. So expect for maybe a little pullback or some choppiness on pennies. And like I said, if we gap down or open up lower on IWM, then I would imagine that we'll fill that gap, and that would give us our third and final run up to this resistance here. Like I said, 225.85 is likely where I would expect IWM to finish One sector that I don't usually do, but I'm doing because it's part of my watch list, is the SMH, which is the Van Vectors Semiconductor ETF. And I wanted to show you guys, what basically what we're cooking with here. So I think some will argue resistance. I think that both are correct in this manner, where you had multiple rejection points at that 258.50 mark. And once you kind of broke, didn't have enough volume, and that's exactly why we emphasize volume in everything, because if you take a look at the breakout, right, where you broke and held that support, where I'm sure tons of people were very bullish on semiconductors in general, you get a pullback, and you get it twice, where it basically reassumes the pattern. And now you are getting a break and a breakout to the upside. Right now it looks like you had a breakout and retest. You also have the 9-day moving average here moving out. And one of the things is, when I'm looking to take something to the upside, I usually want to see my moving averages following close behind. I don't want them lagging. I don't want them too far. So anyway, with SMH, which is that semiconductor ETF, AMD, we have a lot of those smaller companies like ON that have earnings next week, so that could add to the momentum. So maybe, we know that ON has earnings this upcoming week. It might be worth to set a couple of different alerts on said chart, so that way you get alerts on whether or not there's price movement to the up or the downside, which would obviously influence that sector in general. So okay, let's see here. I am watching AMD. I think AMD probably, now one thing I don't like is when a company, let's see here, and this is speculative, right? But so far, well respected. So what I'm expecting here is AMD to either taper just a little bit more, I want to see 105.75, 105.50 at the most, as that hold for AMD. If we get a bounce, this is not a long swing, this is not a long-term trade, it's already above 100, but I see 108. 108 for a bounce. One place that I'm looking to take that play, and this all depends, like I said, where we open up, where we move, but of course, taking this one right at that 106.55. Now, if we open up and we're here or anywhere in this space, or even in this space, the possibility, and let me fix this really quick just so that I'm not, there we go. So yeah, I would suspect at the most 108, 106. So you could take it past that 106.51 for that 108. But one of the reasons why I have my eye on this pattern is because it is a potential reversal pattern. And as I evaluate whether or not the volume dies down inside of this pattern, which if it does, then I will take AMD short. And more than likely, like I said, the 9-day moving average may catch up. So like I said, pull back right around the 105.25. If we get that pullback to the 105.25 or anywhere around there, then I will likely take that to the upside. So yeah, so there's AMD for you. High volume, still consistent, but is dissipating ever so slightly. Alrighty, so AMD, I do have UPS, of course, on my watch list, guys. This one is set to go. I know some of you guys took some speculative positions with me on this one. I am staring at the chart, guys, and of course, I'm not going to let any bias get into the way of, how I feel about a certain position. And I got to be honest with you guys, this could, yes, very well continue to fall to the downside, which is not out of the question at the moment. Volume is still very, very high in retrospect to what UPS usually operates on. And one of the things that I don't like here, guys, which doesn't mean we won't be able to get this play, but I don't really like the falling wedge here on UPS to satisfy that downside. Now, if we end up getting a rejection, which we did, but we lose that 9-day moving average, then I would suspect around 189.15 we will see UPS to the downside. One of the reasons why I'm watching UPS to the downside, if you guys are just new, stopping in, is we have a very massive gap all the way to 179, 180 level, which could pay really, really well. But here's the thing, a lot of the times, gaps above and gaps below, you'll just chop in between. So when I'm watching UPS this next week, it's quite simple, guys. If my contracts or if my position, ends up crossing anywhere above 129.42 with a candle close, I am out. No ifs, ands, or buts. If it rejects and it goes back down, so be it. I'll play it when it breaks into the gap. But the play setup is there. But it may take some time to actually get into that gap. So, UPS, I am watching Roku as well. I think Roku may be in store for a bounce. Just speculative, but kind of sexy. I don't know quite for sure if we're going to see this play out, but it looks as if it should have somewhat of a relief bounce. Now, I'm not quite sure if it's going to go all the way up and retest 440, 450, anywhere in that range. That would be sick. I think that watching it around 435.75 is a good mark to start paying attention to Roku for a bounce. If it's starting this channel trading into earnings, which earnings, like I said, are on Wednesday, volatility could be high. We could see Roku go and make a lower high, right? So, which would still be bearish, still downtrend, but fake buyers into buying into Roku, and then when earnings comes, it doesn't matter what happens. It dumps, it pumps. But I am looking to take advantage of that to some extent. So I think that 3270 is a couple of different price marks here to watch. So let's see here. Let me pull up my playlist. EVs, guys, Blink, Neo, a lot of these stocks, guys, getting really, really, really hot. And a lot of talk about, and Blink is one of them, Blink, Fuel Cell, and also, not to mention, Fuel Cell does carbon cleanup, essentially giving, they're paired with like Honeywell and Carrier, I believe, for carbon storage of some sort. So good company to look for the same momentum. But right now here on Fuel Cell, you guys, sorry about that. On Blink here, I am hoping to see a potential third bounce off of this low. Now, could this end up playing out as a massive inverse head and shoulders? Usually the shoulder doesn't get so low, but I do like Blink for a bounce off of its 200-day EMA. I'd like to see it above 36 for a potential run back up into the $40 level. Right now, consolidated heavily with, and I'll be honest with you, with what could be a bear flag. Here's the thing, if earnings don't go well for Blink, it's at and near such a critical level that if this thing drops, it will absolutely drop back down to $25, where obviously we'd have to do maybe even a full DCF or just take a really deep dive into Blink on whether or not they're a company, whether we can confidently buy the dip or not. Anyway, Blink, Neo, all of those. Neo has a really, really interesting setup here on really every time frame here, but you can see Neo, pull this back up, and actually back up to the daily, so 4 hour maybe, there we go. So I am watching Neo, and I'm just setting price targets around 46.85, price alert, excuse me, and let's see here, 46 as potential places to take Neo. A Neo break over 47.50, and I think we should see a clean push to 49.50. I think that the sentiment is still there. The only thing that's standing in between, standing in between Neo and greatness right now is the Chinese FUD, and I think that's what's kept it lower. But that doesn't mean that EV plays like Blink and stuff like that aren't out of the question. So I do have alerts set on both of those, and hopefully we'll see some type of China clear up over this week. So alrighty, let me go check the messages. Fredo, how did you come up with the 440 numbers? What was it that made you see that number on SPY? Let me go check. Hold on a second. Probably a price rejection point. You're talking about, for a breakout? I mean, I'm already looking at this one now. 441 is, look at where these two candles get stopped out at. You see that rejection here? The bodies don't really rest on it, but it's even this wick here. Look at this one wick. Wicks up to the very same mark. So I'm just generalizing that resistance and rejection zone there. So that's how I got that. So if this does end up being a bear flag, then watch SPY to pull back down. I would imagine 435.60. So you can do, this is what you can do here on SPY. You can set a little channel, right? You have a little downtrend there. So more than likely this is going to be where you consolidate. And then you may, obviously you're going to need to see volume, but you may see another drop back down to support, and 435.65 would be the one where I would suspect. But anyway, yeah, just a respected level there. So okay. My projection right now for Neo is relatively flat and with very lower volume in comparison to some of its counterparts. I think that Chinese FUD needs to go away as soon as possible. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start off. Let's see here. Facebook. Look at UPS, big sell-off after good earnings, oversold like crazy. UPS earnings outlook wasn't that great though, Jackson. The outlook on UPS for the future wasn't super great. And here's the thing, it has a massive gap to the upside, so I have no preference. I'll play it either way. But I am looking for a bottom gap to get filled and then a potential rebound and fill that gap to the upside. So okay, TWNI, Tesla. All right, we'll take a look at those. All right, we'll go ahead and get started on y'all's watch list. So we're gonna go ahead and start the week with, or start this week up with Wish. So far here, looks like we got a breakout on this descending triangle here. So we ended up breaking out to the upside. Volume, that's always been my is always my number one thing here. Tons of volume at this level, guys. I think the main target, and I always use the hourly or higher time frame 200-day EMA, but 11.15, and then right shortly above that is 11.75. Those two price targets there, when we can push Wish past there, I think we resume uptrend. Until then, oh, that was the airplane. Anyway, until then, with Wish right now, low volume, earnings coming up. A lot of the times when something like this, they may hold it down until earnings. So with earnings right around the corner, you may see this price range from $11 all the way from $8.65. You may chop or stay in range, unless of course you start to build a rounded bottom. So you could make a rounded bottom and just start moving up slowly here to the upside, making your move up to $14 into earnings, where you might see a cup and handle or a handle of some sort on Wish. So I would most important things, is setting alerts. So maybe setting alert at 10:50, and of course right here at the 200 at 11:10. All right, so TLT. This one kind of looks bearish to me. Just first look already. So take a look at that. That's looks like a pretty well defined bear flag. So I would suspect it's holding its 20-day EMA, and you can see that this 20-day EMA here on my chart. Look at how well respected it is. Lots of respect on that 20-day EMA. Your normal response, right? And then that's always something good to look at when you're charting, is how it usually reacts. And if it doesn't react that way, something abnormal is happening. So in this case, you have bounces off of the 50-day EMA, but no continuation, automatic shorts. So there could be a good chance. I think that because it's so tightly bound in range, that you can easily set targets or alerts on either one, 149.50 and even nearby at 148.50. So to the downside. All right, tilt. Got Facebook. Facebook looking like ow. Okay, so Facebook in the middle of what looked to be a gap fill here, bouncing off of the 20-day EMA and going and retesting its 9-day moving average, as well as that previous low on the daily. So here, I'm going to go in an hourly. I already have this downtrend, kind of just taking a look at the angles here. So I actually am thinking that Facebook may see one more leg down. I'm not quite sure. If you go out to the daily here, this gap, or the entirety of said gap, gets filled around 350, and I think you're really close to filling that gap. So if you take a look at the chart here, I would more than likely suspect a little push, maybe even a pop back up to 358. I wouldn't touch Facebook to the upside until anywhere around 356.75 with a ton of volume. If you don't have that volume, then I wouldn't even touch it. But anyway, I would suspect that Facebook could likely see more downside straight to the 345, or even just, of course, the psychological number of 350. So alrighty, so we got Facebook, we got Neo. So Neo, yes, did break downtrend. Does look good. The volume is decent. I mean, if you look at it, it's decent. Not great, but decent. It does have a falling wedge, which it did try to break downtrend on, but never quite holding, or not quite holding that right now very well, just barely holding it. So it's going to have to see some relief in the China FUD in order to break past that $45-$46 level and start making its way up to the 47.25, which is its nearest level, where you could see it back up into the 50s. But of course, this has a lot to do with whether or not they can continue to do their thing. So. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Oh, man. Thanks, Kenneth. I'm on your TV in your living room. That's crazy. Do you have a dog's name? I can just call your dog. Wig him out. Okay, so anyway, let's go back on Neo, guys. I would like to see a push into and around probably the $47 range. And then that's when we can really start. If it makes its way up there, I believe you'll have an EMA crossover. You just need to get more volume. So set your alerts and let that trade come to you. Don't take it unless it has the volume that it needs, or you're getting a nice strong bounce off of support here. So watch for a rejection as well. So don't sleep on a downside play at 43.72 potentially. So no, I trade all sorts of stuff. I would trade sticks and stones if I could. No, just kidding. I'm in a client's office taking a break. Nice. Can I chart STLD forward Oracle? Yeah, I got this. So wish I'd give that one I'd give that one like 5 out of I'll give it 5 out of 10. Tilt for the downside, that one goes 9 out of 10. I don't know why I'm rating on this fun. Oh shit, you guys can't hear me. I always remember that you guys can't hear me unless I do this. There we go. Yeah, so Wish has like a 5 out of 10 setup in my opinion. Tilt to the downside, it's like 9 out of 10. Facebook, murky, but I definitely think it's going to get some type of movement. That's a 6 out of 10. Neo, either way, I think the movement this week is definitely in the cards. That one, same thing, 6 out of 10. So I don't know why this has become the Olympics, but here it is. I just feel that some of these, and maybe that's something I should share more often, is that in my head I often rank setups. You know what I mean? So I judge them. Okay, hold on one second. SE overstock, and also Jackson. Let me also add to that. With UPS, even just further consolidation, on this support level, could be the trick. So, but we'll see here. All right. So bingo is our next one, but we got SE overstock, TWI. Last request in there, guys, because I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down as far as requests are concerned. The real meat of it's going to be tomorrow morning when we can see how the market opens up. We can only speculate at this point, and I did go over UPS, but we will go over that one briefly one more time. I need to throw Tesla up here. I'll do that one next. Yeah. What's the word? If you just want to hop right here, man, I'll take those requests. Just type them in there, please. Tilt will move on Fed news. Yeah. What do you mean, down or up? Yeah, the chart I think is setting up a move to the downside. For sure. Let's see here. I'm just trying to make sure. STLD. I think, I don't know, man. I want to say that earnings, we the real thick of earnings keeps us inflated, but I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday shows us the direction for the most part. So, all right, STLD, XHB, and Zillow. and you know, I'm gonna say this. I'm excited for this month, and I think that there's money to be made here. Don't doubt the market. All right. So I know that we all have our bearish sentiments. We don't quite understand how the market is continuously going up, why the market continues to go up. But the fact of the matter is that it's made to do exactly that. So if earnings goes well and we digest things and Fed meetings don't jam what we have going on currently, and inflation, doesn't continue to. We don't have any catalysts that push inflation any higher. We don't have any shutdowns. All in all, I think that the market will continue to push up to the upside. So. NRXP and BTB. I believe Atlas is all over that one too. So. Zillow has some competitors on the lower level that you get that should be. That's the space. That's the space that's constantly changing, as well. I'll have to grab that before I misspeak. But okay. Anyway, yeah. If you guys want to hit right here. Okay, sorry guys. Non-farm payrolls this Friday will be a big sentiment changer. That is very true. And let's see. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, IPOs. Oh man, IPOs have lagged hard this year. Economic calendar for this week, guys. 8/2 ISM Manufacturing Index at 10 a.m. Eastern. 8/4 ISM Non-Manufacturing Index at 10 a.m. Initial and continuing claims on 8/5 initial or 8:30 a.m. And then payrolls at 8/6. So we could run up into also, guys, I'm going to post this again. Look, for those of you who don't know, a good website for calendars, briefing.com. Yuck. That's a good one to look at. I don't know why I do that. It's just who I am now. I love you, Tank. Yeah, for sure, though. And we could run up to him. So. All right, let's get back to the charts. Bingo was next, so. Bingo was his name. Let's. I don't know if you guys noticed what I just did there, but I couldn't find my base, but I saw this. Right? Something's a rejection point. And the reason why I'm even drawing this is because more than usually you find yourself in some sort of channel when you're lacking volume. And that's exactly what we see here, a lack of volume. So watch for Bingo this week to hit 655. Which would be its touch of resistance, which would be where it needs to break to the upside. So you might be nearing a breakout. You could be. In fact, let's see here. You have 1, 2, we'll say 1, 2, 3, kind of in that zone. Even 4. I mean, multiple touches for that support at 560 and no cigar, no break. So. Yeah, I would suspect that put a mark at 650. You'll see a breakout on Bingo past that mark, 650, and then obviously below its current mark right here, but more than likely below 562. We'll see this thing back down into this channel, probably in the $5 to $4 and 75 cent range. So yeah, I can chart those if you want, but you're gonna have to throw them there, or in the YouTube. So okay, keeping it fast. So Tesla, my gosh, guys, this thing is determined to some extent to continue its push to the upside here, and I almost just can't even leave my lines on it anymore. It did end the day and I'm looking at the 15-minute with a bear flag. So I mean, it looks as if it's going to pull back a little bit, anywhere below 682, and you'll see a likely retest of 675. And so set your alerts at that 682 level, because that would be where you would need to break in order to see further downside. But if you look at the rejection or where we're at on the chart, my thing is that I always like to see, resistance, or excuse me, whenever I get a breakout, I like to see my moving averages moving across that resistance line as well, not just the price, but the actual moving averages here. And so we have the 9-day moving average here breaking out. That does not to say that we won't see Tesla pull back and retest this very same level. But right now, above 682.52, and you guys know the deal. Anytime you get a breakout, you get a retest. So in order to achieve said retest, we could have a little bit of chop or pull back into this support. Otherwise, I think a flag or holding this level here, especially 695, and that'll all have to do with earnings this week, sentiment within the market, sentiment within the sector, and if that sentiment is on point, then I think that Tesla, which is very market reactive stock, will likely see continued upside. If we go here to the 15-minute, just to make sure we're doing our due diligence, multiple time frame analysis, here you'll see the rejection off of this blue line was quite harsh, but you do get the little bounce up here. So I think below that 50-day EMA 684.45, and of course that previous low, you'll see 682.50. You'll see further downside, but let's see here, just to double check. That's what I thought. Ooh, okay, so Tesla. Okay, so nice. Okay, so we got the 200-day EMA there backing us up. This is our shorter time frame. So this is the space in which Tesla will likely fall. So if you see Tesla back down, watch Tesla to 675. I would say 675, and then you could see a bounce out, of course. But look at the daily here, guys. It's either building a base, and we are going to make our next move here to the upside to 700. If we hit 700, I think 715 is the first psychological number that I see. And honestly, where the most volume was as far as like those rejections, 700 is a big psychological number, and one that probably Michael Burry shorts individually. So Tate, what do you what's a falling wedge? Are you talking about Tesla? Bingo. Yeah, let me see. Maybe I missed something. I don't see the falling wedge. I do see a channel, but let's see here. So usually a falling wedge also is going to come from a downtrend. This is in fact coming off of what looks to be a reversal off of a downtrend. So if you look right here using this previous support, I mean, it's off. Let's see here. Nope, that's not actually going to work. So pull this one over off of this high, and you'll see that this downtrend actually broke out. So you have this downtrend here break out into this channel. So let's see here. Maybe I missed something. No, I think this channel is pretty set. We'll find out though. But yeah, so I'd say just simple channel trading until earnings. Yeah, no, I understand. It's sometimes can be confusing. So, no, thanks for having me take a second look at it. So, I could always be wrong, not always right. SE guys, I already have this one charted up here. Buyers are trying to hold on to this dynamic resistance or support. Excuse me, as you can see, very well, big wick all the way from 255 all the way back up to 270. Another wick right here pushing down 265 all the way back up to 275. Here, again, daily candle holding that SMA. Let's see the little blue line there curling up, holding that candle there. Let's look at the hourly. Okay, so it looks to me you got another pennant. So with SE, and especially where it's at on the daily, this is not a super bullish pattern. And to be honest with you, I think it's worth watching to the downside below 267.50. Buyers are definitely here. We do have earnings coming up, so there's always the potential for a resistance or reversal here. And volume isn't terrible, but nothing crazy, like nothing compared. Like this is good volume here, and you can see we had a good spike here, and then just back down to nothing. So, all right, SE OSTK. That's a reversal pattern as well. So anywhere below 270 candle close, and then watching that push to 260. So, and that would likely have it in a downtrend from there. So, overstock. Pretty simple break of support here. This one looks like it's just, I wouldn't even bother charting this one any further. It's just going to use these support zones. So watch overstock to bounce off of 65.50 and 66.40 or 50, excuse me. That one pretty. Now there is always the potential for a retest, or but you have all of these moving averages here, just showing confirmation for that further downside. So TWNI Tailwind Interior Acquisition Corps. I can't chart that, my guy. There's nothing to chart here. All you can do at this point is just set this, but I can't chart that. So. Unless I got the wrong one. I mean, that's slightly more chartable, but still not much there, man. That's just not very liquid at the moment. ORLCK, did we already get Oracle? Ooh, Oracle looks like it's going back down to 85 break, and then you got 84.50. This one has a daily bear flag here. It looks like on the daily it rejected its 9-day moving average, tapping it here, holding that 9. So anywhere below 86.50. And I think that you will definitely see some downtrend here on Oracle. That is pretty awful. In fact, Oracle just made the list for a potential short. I'm kind of a bear. gap to fill on both. Oracle down. Roku, I'm looking for a bounce up. So, and then AMD, I'm looking for a little slide back and then a bounce. So, all right. Yeah, Oracle. Oracle looks fucking terrible. Break of $86. I might have to short that next week. Not short it, but puts look good on it. Big bear flag. Okay, so STLD. Oh wow, Steel Dynamics. Somehow I have this charted. Okay, who did this? You are kind of making that. Yeah, you look good. You look good. But you have the 9-day here that you're resting on, and then the HMA curling back around. It looks like it wants to pop you. Let's see here, daily. This one broke out nice and clean. I mean, it could definitely use a pullback. So even if that pullback meant staying somewhere in trend, you know, like let's see here. So that's not 100% accurate, but it could stay within these realms here for a bounce off of and around 62. So otherwise, it looks like a good bull flag, but these wicks right here are kind of scary. So, all right. YouTube going off. Okay, so we have Steel Dynamics XHB. This one apparently is charted as well. What the hell? Might be charting in my sleep. I don't even remember doing this shit. Okay, watch for a little ascending triangle. This is your consolidation zone here before you make a further move to the upside. That is a big range. Oh no. Oh, that's how my phone died. It's about to though. Yeah, so big range here, $76. If you can cross $76, you got a lot of movement. You got 77.65, and we have seen the home sector or the housing sector cool off just a little bit, but starting to see it pick back up here a little bit. I imagine towards the end of the year that may happen. Okay, let's go check back on the chart. You're cementing fans on my GPU. I got you. Does XM look like it's going to break out off that 52 retest? XM, let me see, or 42 retest. Let me see. Yes, does. Hold on, let's see here. Good job, good eye. Not quite the full retest, but I mean you're there. That's after hours movement as well, so you could continue to pull back. But I mean it looks good enough for the break to the upside here. I like it. Let's see here. What are the daily talking about? Okay. So push past $43. I don't know what these guys do, but starting to pick up a little bit of momentum here, starting to pick up some volume as well. So definitely keep an eye on it around the $42 to $43 levels. So nice bounce off support. Looks like it might end up making like a cup. All in all, so watch this one to start cruising back to the upside. This one might be pretty good. Quadraix. I'll have to take a look at this one. I like the chart setup though. Nice and quiet too, not too noisy. All right. Blink. Why are the wicks kind of scary on STLD? This, because there's sellers right there at 65.75. That's a psychological number. Market maker's job are to paint pretty pictures and keep market structure. And in this case here, you got them flagging this. So this thing, buyers got a little too excited at the bell, opening bell, and then these guys go ahead and they take it back down, hold it consolidated, because it's likely going to pull back into support before it sees its next bounce out. So, I'll have to look more into the XM though. That's a pretty interesting chart. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and do Blink, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up for the night, guys. I just a FYI for those of you guys who have been hanging out with us, I will be doing pre-market prep, but we will not be trading live on YouTube, guys. It's time to reel things in. Make sure everybody in the chat is good. I appreciate. We will still be live at night, still be live in the morning, but in order to focus and eliminate distractions and stuff like that during the trading day, we're going to focus on the people in the group, obviously, and we'll open back up. There is, of course, the 7-day free trial. You guys are more than welcome to go through the website to do, but even at some point with that, we will cut that off as well. But and that won't be permanently, but just momentarily. So, all right, Blink here. Wait, didn't I do Blink? I think I did Blink. Yeah, I did, but I didn't finish it, I guess. So, a couple different stories here on Blink. You either have what looks to be a big bear flag, which honestly these marks here kind of tell me that there's not a ton of strength. This one as well, kind of channel trading up, but I think unfortunately that Blink, unless earnings go really well, that then maybe Blink rounds out and makes a rounded bottom. But I don't like these big price drops here on Blink off of its resistance. So in my opinion, if Blink can push 35.71 and start making its way up and around 38, that's all good, but the price action is very limited right now, and so I'd be very careful and just set alerts on Blink in the meantime. So I like it long, but not anything else than that. So all right, guys, that's it for me tonight. I'm pretty tired too, long weekend, but I appreciate you guys hanging out. And actually, I'm not going to bed. I'm going to go make some videos on Microsoft and Tesla and a couple Aapl, and I'm going to post them here on the channel. So if you guys are interested, you guys are more than welcome to check those out here tonight. And tomorrow, I'm going to get them up relatively quick. They don't take me very long. So anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate it. As always, we'll see you guys in the morning. We'll get started. So you guys have a good one.